Netgear Nighthawk RAXE300 Review. The Netgear Nighthawk RAXE300 is a top-notch router that comes at a more reasonable price than the RAXE500. Most users would not detect a huge difference in performance, which makes it a great bargain. In summary, the RAXE300 is a simplified version of its bigger sibling, the RAXE500. However, unless it's a crowded user environment, you probably won't be able to make out the difference between them. Even though the 2.5 GHz and 6 GHz bands have been reduced to a 2x2 setup, this will only be a problem for those with a lot of data transferring devices at once. Also, Wi-Fi 6 GHz still isn't very common and it has a high throughput, so it should take an uncommon situation for it to struggle. Although it's unlikely 4x4 client chips will be released, if they do, it would make a big impact on the statement mentioned previously. Compared to the loss of the bands, we believe that WAN link aggregation is more beneficial in the actual world. Netgear has modified the multi-gig port and WAN ports a bit. Now, you have two ports that can be used as LAN or WAN, with one being 1G and the other 2.5G. In the UK, it is best to use the 1G sized port for WAN and 2.5G for LAN purposes. Additionally, the RAXE300 has a fanless design, unlike its predecessor, which we never heard the fan of anyway. We didn't get great performance with 6GHz when we left the settings as is. Windows showed a connection speed of about 1.4 gigabits per second. Testing different channels led to much better results, so decided on channel 85 as the best option. After some time, we finally connected at 2.4 gigabits per second, and if speeds were 1.47 gigabits per second, just slightly lower than the 5GHz on 160 MHz. Over Wi-Fi, the file transfer speeds we experienced were impressive. Transferring a big zip file, we were able to consistently achieve 192 megabytes per second, which translates to 1536 megabits per second. Naturally, the signal quality of 6GHz is weaker than 5GHz. Previously, we had trouble making Netgear routers consistently function at 160 MHz wide connections. Thankfully, all my recent reviews have been positive, as they've worked out of the box with no issues. During my testing, the 5GHz performance was flawless, boasting high speeds even from far ranges. This can lessen the interest in Wi-Fi 6E and 6GHz for those living in semi-detached houses, such as we do in a coastal town. City dwellers or those close to airports and radar may experience more problems with 160 MHz. The range on this router is unparalleled. With it in the center of my house, my office had amazing speeds. Even though mesh systems can be wonderful, properly placing a good quality router like this one could deliver stronger performance at a lower cost. Even though many devices will still continue to use the older Wi-Fi standard, performance is still decent at 1.7 gigabits per second, which is the maximum speed Windows connects at. The outcomes were fantastic again, among the best we have seen on Wi-Fi 5. Nevertheless, recollecting my previous reviews, this is probably due to them working at 80 MHz instead of 160 MHz. To the best of my knowledge, Netgear maintains the same firmware features for all Nighthawk routers, and their features are similar to those of the RAXE500. You have all the essential components, but if you're expecting lots of features with in-depth control over everything, then this may not be for you. As with other Netgear routers and mesh systems, this one also comes with Netgear Armor, including getting a free month's trial. It is an expensive service, but if you have a lot of people living at home who may not be well versed in identifying cybersecurity threats, then it might be worth the cost. The RAXE500 is an incredible router, but most home users don't need it because they won't be able to take advantage of its full capabilities. If you're looking for a comparable experience without spending too much, Netgear RAXE300 is your best bet. It's perfect for both home and small business use, offering the speed of Wi-Fi 6E at an affordable cost. This router has an impressive range, making it a more attractive option than mesh systems. As long as you put it in the right spot, it can provide better coverage than a mesh system at a lower cost. Initially, we encountered some problems with this router. It could be my complex network or the newness of the router itself, though it's probably a user error.